I'm Rory Greener from XR Today, bringing you the latest in news and conversation from the extended reality space. Joining me today is Jan Goetgeluk, the founder and CEO of Virtuix. Welcome and thank you for taking the time to join me today, Jan.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Fantastic. So why don't you start off by introducing our watchers to the Omni One product, Virtuix as a company, and Omnidirectional Treadmills.
Definitely, yeah. We sell the Omni. The Omni is an omnidirectional treadmill that lets you walk and run around in 360 degrees inside virtual reality games or other applications. Instead of just pushing a joystick or a thumbstick, you're physically moving around in the VR space. On this 360-degree platform that we have. We have Omni Pro, the commercial version, Omni Arena, which is a full turnkey attraction with 4 Omnis for commercial entertainment. And now recently we started shipping Omni One, which is our first consumer version designed for the home.
Fantastic. So could you introduce the development process a little bit of the Omni One from that commercial start over to a consumer-based product?
Yeah, funnily enough, we started with a big vision for the consumer way back when we started 10 years ago, but we pivoted to the commercial market since the consumer VR space was rather slow to take off. So we've been successful in the commercial space, but it's always been our vision to go back to the consumer and have a version for the home. We started working on that 2-3 years ago, so it's been a pretty long development process. But here we are today. Compared to the commercial version, Omni One certainly is visually designed for the home with fabric elements to it, so a nice design to it. It's easy to set up and assemble or disassemble. No tools needed. You can fold it down. It has wheels, so you can move it around. It's lighter than the commercial version, so really optimized for home use and for consumers.
Fantastic. And that period of development must have been difficult during COVID and perhaps during some higher demand.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. There were travel restrictions, work restrictions. Then there were some supply chain shortages, so we had to work around all that. Certainly didn't help the design cycle. So it took a little bit longer than expected. But all in all, we're very happy with the result.
Fantastic, I'm glad to hear that. So could we pivot a little bit, and I wanted to know why you picked the Pico Neo 3 Pro headset to come bundled with the Omni One product, and also, why did you pick that device over others?
Yeah, we were looking for a great headset that we could work with to install our own software on the headset. So Omni One comes with our own game store, our own operating software, our own social features. It's our own platform, if you will. So there's only a few headsets out there that would really allow you to do that. A company like Meta, for example, they're not in it to be an OEM and work with other parties to just use their headset as just a piece of hardware. So we have a great relationship with Pico. We think the Pico Neo 3 Pro is a great headset. The Pico 4, by the way, is not out yet in the US, so it's as simple as that. We're shipping with the Pico Neo 3 Pro today. Will we upgrade to a better headset at some point? I think that's obviously inevitable. But right now, we're very happy with the Neo 3 Pro.
Fantastic. And within the headset, I'm also interested in what technology stacks power the device, perhaps hardware and software. What comes together to make the Omni One product work?
Yeah. So on the headset, we have our VR environment, or our launcher, if you will. That's based on Unity. That's a Unity-based application. And then the rest of our stack, mobile app or web applications, uses React Native. AWS is the database behind it all. Well, it's C# in the back end. Maybe that's too technical. I'm not sure if that's what you're looking for, but that's kind of our tech stack going into Omni One.
Fantastic. I know there's a few titles that you can use the device with. Do you have any insight into some of the titles and some of the applications that you can use the Omni One with?
Yeah, we haven't announced any launch titles yet. We are actively working on putting our launch lineup together, and we'll save that for our next update.
Fantastic, thank you for that. So why is the Omni One treadmill, and then also just omnidirectional treadmills, as a product here to stay Obviously, with emerging technologies, there's a lot of new hardware and software that's coming out. So why is the Omni Treadmill concrete in this current marketplace?
Yeah, I think it's a necessary addition to any VR setup. If you want to walk and move around inside VR, I always wanted to do that physically. I didn't want to just sit down and push a button on a thumbstick. I think it breaks the immersion. It makes people motion sick as well. If your brain sees you're moving but your body is not moving, especially in a first-person shooter, if you want to move rather quickly, I think an omnidirectional treadmill like the Omni is an indispensable component of a VR setup. I think it adds a lot. It adds a lot to the immersion. It adds a lot to the fun factor of VR. And ultimately also you're burning calories while gaming. So there's a physical benefit to it as well. So, yeah, we're biased here at Virtuix, but we don't necessarily care for VR without an Omni per se. I really, every time I try to play a game just with a headset and without the Omni, it's like, wow, yeah, that just, for us, it's not good enough.
Yeah, it's quite a nice point you bring up about the fitness side of it and keeping active, because I guess as a medium on the whole, VR or AR, MR, the entire XR marketplace itself is a very active technology. It's not like a computer where you sit there passively. So it's a great consideration to have.
Right, yep, exactly.
So could you also give us a little bit of insight, if you can, into any training use for Omni One Treadmill? Because I can imagine this really increases immersion across not just gaming platforms, but other immersive experiences too.
Definitely, yeah. We have our Omni Pro commercial treadmills. We've shipped now over 4,000 of those in 45 countries all over the world, really. Mainly for enterprise applications, entertainment as well, probably still the biggest use case, but also enterprise training and simulation, law enforcement, military, but also corporate training. For example, we have a company that uses them for training how to maintain or an oil refinery or a drilling platform. So yeah, training is a big application, I think, for VR, and any training application that can benefit from actually physically moving around in that space can benefit from an Omni.
All right, finally, let's chat about the Metaverse. Could you give us an insight into how the Omni One and then again omnidirectional treadmills on the whole, how can they improve Metaverse immersion?
Yeah. In a nutshell, we let you walk around inside the Metaverse. And it's like in the movie Ready Player One, which is, I think, a great depiction of what the metaverse can be. You don't need an Omni, to move around in the metaverse, but the cool kids have one, right? The cool kids have an Omni because it's better. You're not pushing a thumbstick; you're physically walking around inside the metaverse, and it's awesome. It's mind blowing. So yeah, that's how we think about it.
Fantastic. And perhaps just to round us off, could you tell our viewers, I guess US customers, how they would soon be able to get hands on with an Omni One product?
Yeah, we're currently shipping early units to our investor community, and we will serve our investors first. You can become an investor and skip the line. We currently have a funding campaign going at invest.virtuix.com. Everybody can become a Virtuix shareholder with a minimum investment of $1,000. And then you get a discount of Omni One of right now 30% or more. So very substantial. And you get to skip the line. And we have a waiting list of over 35,000 people that have signed up online indicating they want to get an Omni One. So there's going to be a long wait. But as investors, you get priority. You get to order ahead of the general public. So go to invest.virtuix.com and then you can sign up and you'll be among the first to get a unit.
Fantastic. I feel like you've answered this a little bit, but for those watching, what's the best way to keep up to date with Virtuix? What's the best website, social medias that people can follow?
Yep, our general website is virtuix.com, and of course also our social media channels on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We have a newsletter as well that we send out regularly to keep people updated. And also our investors get a monthly investor newsletter. They get the ins and outs of what's going on at Virtuix.
Fantastic. There's a lot of opportunities to learn there, I can see. Thank you so much for your time today, Jan. That's it from myself. You can get more XR news by subscribing to the XR Today news channel and by following our social pages. I'm Rory Greener from XR Today. Thank you very much for watching.